Does everyone love Neville unconditionally? Should he even be a Gryffindor? I'm gonna have some really angry Harry Potter fans on my back this time round. Oh well. Hello all my exciting Keefs, my name is Patrick and welcome to Fun with First Names, where each week we look into the meaning, origin and some extra fun facts behind one specific first name. And this week we're looking into the first name of Neville. Though before we begin, I just need to remind you that we're trying to hit that goal of $1,000 a month by the end of June on Patreon. We're currently on about 850, it's gone down a little bit, that's completely fine. Some people drop out, some people join, that's cool no matter what you do, but we're really close to getting there guys, $150 more and we'll be there in no time. And when we hit that goal, I'm going to make a big video explaining how all the states of the USA got their name as well as their nickname. And also, if we do it before June, I'm going to shave all this off. Not my head hair, just my facial hair, because you don't want to see completely bald Patrick, but it'll be really worth it. It helps Name explain such a huge way. There'll be a link down below. Go check it out, please. Thank you. And of course, I want to give a huge thank to everyone who's become a patron in the most recent week. That includes Mike Case, Jack White and Otis Platt. Thank you guys all so much. Anyway, on with today's name of Neville. And Neville is an odd name. It's a cool, fun name, but just a bit odd. And the reason I find it odd is because personally, I don't think it should actually be a first name. This is because Neville is made up of word forming elements that we don't tend to really associate or see in first names. However, we see these word forming elements a lot more in the names of towns and cities and settlements in general. Now that I've told you this, I'm sure you can see it for yourself, especially in that latter part of the name Neville, the Ville part. Ville is seen all the time in the names of towns and cities. We rarely see it in human first names. You know, think of the likes of Nashville in the USA or Granville over in France. Ville is literally one of the most popular generic word forming elements for a city or town I can think of. Like, isn't the generic town the Powerpuff Girls setting just called Townsville or something? Like, there you go, just Townsville. Farmville, an example. Gosh, do you remember Farmville? Does that still exist? But case in point, Ville is just this really generic word we use for settlements. It really shouldn't be anywhere near a first name, but here we are. Cheers, Neville. Cheers, Nev. And if you hadn't guessed, Ville is French/Norman in origin and does simply mean town/city. This means that the name Neville is of French origin, which is kind of funny actually, as Neville it seems this really traditional British old-fashioned name, but nope, it's French. Like most traditional British names, it's French. If the latter part means town, I'm guessing you can kind of imagine what the NE at the start means. This simply means a new in French or Norman. This means that the name Neville simply means new town. Like, as I said, that's why I really don't think this should be a first name. That's such a weird meaning for a first name to have, just new town. Newtown unto itself is a pretty common name for a place all across the English language, and I'm pretty sure there's some Nevilles around the world. I think there's some in the USA, some in Canada, and of course some in France. This is probably one of the most generic place names you could think of, at least in French anyway. So how did it become a first name then? Well, this probably happened the same way how a lot of place names become first names, and that's via last names. You know all about last names by now, I imagine. A lot of people took on last names of where they lived, so a lot of people would have lived in these new towns or Nevilles. They were taking on Neville as their last name, and eventually over time it got changed into a first name. Hence how Neville became a first name with this strange meaning. There was also the House of Neville in medieval England as well. I'm sure maybe they played a role in it. But whatever the case, somehow this noun that is clearly meant for settlements snuck its way into the world of first names, and we still have it to this day. Neville, meaning new town. Very odd. I just find it so strange that this is such an acceptable first name where it's clearly so meant for towns. It's like if Springfield was a first name, because that's a really generic settlement name as well. Hi baby Springfield, how are you doing? You know, it's basically that with the name Neville. Though maybe I'm being a bit too tough on poor old Neville, there are tons of first names that actually come from settlements. Lincoln, in example, has become a popular first name, and this was first used as a last name for people from the city of Lincoln here in the UK, and that city's name means city by the pool, or just the pool, I believe. Either way, once you know Lincoln's etymology, it seems kind of weird for that being a first name too. Yet no one is denying Lincoln's right to be a first name. Well, I'm not anyway. I guess Neville just sounds a lot more like a settlement name than Lincoln because it has those word forming elements, especially that Ville at the end, which just so clearly means town. Like, what are you doing in a first name? Like, how did you get there? Well, we know how you got there, but you get the point. It's a bit silly. It just makes it stick out an awful lot more as a first name, and I just find that a bit odd once you delve into its etymology anyway, but maybe that's just me. I spend a lot of time with first names. Maybe I'm just slowly going mad because of all these first names. That can't be the case, can it? Nah, I'm fine. I'm fine. But then we also have cases like Paris and London. They are both heavily linked with certain settlements, yet they've gone on to become first names as well, and no one really bats an eyelid at those. So if they can be first names, I guess Neville can be too. I'll allow it. This time. You got off lucky this time, Neville. Don't think you'll be lucky next time. Luckily for me, I'm sure I won't be angering too many Nevilles at the moment, because Neville doesn't seem to be that popular of a first name these days. I don't believe it's in the top 1,000 for the USA or the UK at the moment. I think it's very associated as an old man kind of name at the moment. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe it will come back in the future, but for now, Neville isn't in the limelight. Sorry, Nev. Perhaps the most famous Neville is Neville Chamberlain, former British Prime Minister. However, as I mentioned, Neville can also be a surname. And we have Gary, Phil and Tracy Neville. They're a famous sporting family. Gary and Phil were former football players and Tracy was a former netball player. I think they've all gone on to do managerial work now in their respective sports. And of course we have Neville Longbottom as well. Everyone's favourite Neville? Maybe. Does Neville get too good of a rap? Does everyone love Neville unconditionally? Should he even be a Gryffindor? I'm gonna have some really angry Harry Potter fans on my back this time round. Oh well, comment away, angry Potter fans. YouTube loves more comments, so go tell me how good Neville is down in the comments below. Cool. And in regards to a gaming Neville, one of the ghosts in the original Luigi's Mansion is called Neville. I believe it's like the dad ghost, one of the first. That might even be the first ghost you defeat. The original Luigi's Mansion's really good. Such a unique game. I recently played the third one. Third one's cool. Second one's okay. Third one's really cool. The first one's just so unique. Just during the GameCube era, Nintendo were just firing on all cylinders and just throwing everything at the wall and see what sticks. Did Luigi's Mansion stick? Well, it's got a free game, so I guess so. They remade it for the 3DS. I should play that. But anyway, that's just about everything you guys need about the name Neville. But what are your thoughts on this name? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Do you know anyone with the name Neville? Are you called Neville yourself? Let me know down in the comments below. And of course, I just want to share some of the thoughts you guys had on last week's name of Matilda. Wilhelm II said, so why isn't it a good name for a small girl? My small daughter can be battleful, strong and stuff. You know, I haven't got any daughters myself, so if I ever have a daughter, maybe I'll agree with this. Or maybe I do have a daughter. You don't know me. Maybe I don't know me. Maybe I do. You don't know how many children I do or don't have. Igabod Debagi said, the British made a tank called the Matilda, which is a very appropriate use of that name. Yes, it is. Maybe I should have mentioned that in the video itself, but instead I mentioned Robot Wars because, I don't know, I have more of a tie to Robot Wars than tanks. Not much of a tank person. Big Robot Wars fan though, and Roald Dahl fan, though I haven't read Matilda. Seen the film, very good. And Trey Trent said, definitely never thought I'd see a Robot Wars reference anywhere near this channel. You don't know me, like I said, you don't know how many children I do or don't have. You don't know what old British TV shows I haven't seen or have not seen, or have seen. Big fan of Robot Wars. I'm gonna try and get a Jungle Run reference in next. Does anyone remember Jungle Run? Let me know if you remember Jungle Run. I really want one of those ruby monkey statues or a silver statue, just as a memento. I think one was for sale on Depop once. If anyone knows where I can get a Jungle Run monkey from, let me know. I'm interested. Might have a sale on your hands. Next week we'll be looking to a name starting with the letter O, and what name that will be exactly will be chosen on a poll exclusively for my patrons to vote on. So if you enjoy the channel, want to help support it and have a say in what names get explained, then please do consider becoming a patron. You know the drill by now guys, $1 a month helps in a huge way, ad-free videos, exclusive content, there'll be a link down below. Let's get to $1,000 a month by the end of June. Cool. But anyway guys, that's just about enough for myself for now. Don't forget to go follow me on Instagram where I'm NameExplainYT, and don't forget to go join the Facebook group Friends of Name Explain. Anyway guys, take care.